Hello.
What's up?
Not much.
I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold.
Okay. Well, hopefully are feeling okay.
I'll just be leaning off camera a couple times and muting myself a couple times. It's fine. It's fine.
All right. So I guess we went over everything. So you good?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get the song ready. And we're off. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event.
Wrong song. All right. Here we go. Welcome to the Everyone's a Critic movie review podcast. I'm your co-host, Bob Zerl. With me, as always, is professional film critic Sean Patrick. Visit us at IHateCritics.net, Everyone's a Critic Podcast.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our handle is CriticsPod. We can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Alexa, all your podcatchers. We're also on YouTube. If you go there, you can watch us live Sunday mornings or Monday nights, probably for the next it'll be hit and miss with the Sunday mornings with baseball starting up, unfortunately. So if we have to add another time in there besides Monday nights, let me know, Sean. But we do broadcast live on YouTube. If you want to be notified, subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to get notified whenever we go live. And then there's patreon.com/criticspod, the best way to help support the podcast. We do have the A24 episode out there currently, and we're working on coming up with another idea for probably April. And then there's TeePublic at IHateCritics.net. Click on the TeePublic link and get yourself some podcast merch. Let's just jump right into it. Could be a fairly short show, but let's see how it goes. Nobody, new to the theaters.
Yeah, Nobody. It stars Bob Odenkirk in the role of a man named Hutch, who's a painfully average gentleman who he just lives a very normal life, just taking out the trash, going to his job as apparently, I think, an accountant. He
Nice.
is got a wife who doesn't like him anymore. Is this sounding familiar, Bob?
Yeah. Sounds like my life.
He's a painfully normal guy, except there's always these little things about him that are a little bit different. Like he works out hardcore. Like he runs a lot. He does like a really serious workout, and it's not overly like you're getting anything too much, but like you find out just slowly, like this guy's got a little something about him, And then, he also doesn't drive, so he's kind of an oddball all around, kind of a weird guy. And then you come to find out that secretly, in another life, after his family gets attacked in their home. Sorry, this is going to be bad. His family gets attacked in their home, and he doesn't do anything about it. He gets completely humiliated, and that kind of unleashes within him this other part of his life where he used to be a killer for hire for the U.S. government. He used to just take out bad guys and put them just put them in the ground. If you saw him coming, you died. And he's trying to put that life behind him, but then it just kind of gets unleashed after this whole situation, where he gets humiliated in his house. And so he decides to go back into this life. Essentially, one night, just riding the bus home, he gets into it with a group of guys. He kicks the holy hell out of them in this amazing fight on a bus. And one of those guys happens to be the brother of a Russian mobster. And that, of course, will lead to a big showdown with him and the entirety of the Russian mob, which is kind of awesome. I like this movie. This is a movie written by Derek Kolstad, who wrote the John Wick movies. He knows how to create these characters. And there are some speculations, some notable notions about this movie perhaps being in the John Wick universe. He does have some similarities where the money that he has is the same kind of gold bars that John Wick has. So maybe there's a connection there. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Who knows? But I love this character. Bob Odenkirk's incredible at playing it. And this director, Ilya Naishuller, is really cool at creating memorable visuals, especially with visual violence. Does a really great job with the visual violence. And there's also a couple of visual allusions in there to John Wick, which I really enjoyed because, again, I love John Wick. This movie isn't as polished as John Wick. It doesn't have like the really awesome universe building that movie does, but overall, it's really good. It's really solid in its way. And Bob Odenkirk is really the perfect character or perfect actor to play this character. And he's put a lot of work into this, like the last 2 years, just building himself up into shape to play this character. And you can really tell he's dedicated to it. He's passionate about it, and you feel that. And it's exciting to watch.
You think he'll keep it up for future movies? I mean, it would be nice to have a reason to be in that kind of shape in your 50s.
That's a question. That's the big question, is if he can maintain that, like if he can keep up that pace. I would think he'd probably need to do it again right away.
Yeah, this would have been the perfect movie for me to go back to the theater for, being that the last movie I saw was Hunt. This would kind of be the perfect, bookend. I could not make time. I'm really bummed about that.
I still haven't gone back to the theater.
I have both my shots already, so I feel like I could go. I'm
a little ways away yet.
You had one yet?
Yeah.
That's good. So you're getting close.
Yeah. It's like 2 weeks after I get the second one, so sometime maybe around May.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I forgot to put our screens up. There's no I mean, this movie looks fantastic, and I've never seen a John Wick movie yet, so this wouldn't be the first movie to where they claimed it might be in the John Wick universe, but
right
to have the most connection.
There's opportunities there, and there's also the supporting cast. I should mention Christopher Lloyd and RZA are both in this, both as members of Bob Odenkirk's family. and just seeing what Christopher Lloyd gets to do in this movie is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
God, I want to see this so bad. Anything else on Nobody before we move on?
Go see it. It's a lot of fun. If you love big action movies, this is the one. This is a really terrific action movie.
And if you got your vaccines.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. 6 minutes to midnight.
6 minutes to midnight stars Eddie Izzard as an MI6 spy who gets assigned to work at a girls' boarding school, which sounds odd, but this boarding school happens to be the boarding school where the top echelon Nazis all send their daughters. They all send them to this place. It's been a long-standing spot for German elite for years, and they've continued that. And as World War II is about to start, these girls are basically like a pawn in the game between England and Germany. This is based on a true story. So the English want to keep these girls in the country as a way of negotiating with the Nazis and kind of keeping them at bay. And the Nazis want to try and sneak them out of the country and they've kind of, there's a lot of play there. You're talking about teenage girls who really don't understand that they're at the center of world politics in this moment, which is kind of exciting. Then you've got Eddie Izzard is a spy, but then there's also spies who are opposite him. One of them works at the school, and there's a lot of chess being played, and it's a lot of old school kind of English, very kind of staid and stodgy, but still very exciting in terms of being a classic, old school spy movie. Not quite Hitchcockian, but just classically English in the way it does spycraft. And I don't know what it is. I get excited anytime I see one of those little spy cameras. Just click, click, click. I love that. And Eddie Izzard uses one of those in here, and I really like that. I like this movie. I think it's a fun action movie, even as it is a bit, withdrawn, a bit reserved in a sort of English fashion.
Is it in theaters or is it streaming?
Both.
Oh, cool. I didn't go look to find it because I was short on time, but it looks entertaining and interesting, if nothing else. It's very entertaining. And Eddie Izzard, really, you wouldn't think of Eddie Izzard as this character, but he pulls it off. He really does this character very well. Or she does this character really well, I should say. It's awesome. So we're both kind of battling colds. This is a little worse than mine, so.
It's bad.
On the if you're listening.
I really thought about not going on camera, but
gonna pull a Josh. All right. Anything else in 6 minutes to midnight? Where on streaming can you get it? Just Amazon?
Anywhere. It's available. It's available wherever you get streaming rentals.
All right.
And on my other podcast, you can actually hear me talking with the director and the co-writer and co-star, Kellen Jones. So I'll share that to our Facebook page.
Excellent. All right. The Netflix movie that was going to be a theatrical movie last year, Bad Trip. Speaking of spy cameras.
Yeah, Bad Trip. Eric Andre, Lil Rel Howery, and Tiffany Haddish basically playing pranks on people while also playing out an actual narrative here. Eric Andre and Lil Rel are best friends who are kind of losers living in Florida. They've got loser jobs. And then Eric Andre sees the girl of his dreams, Michaela Conlon, at his job and decides to go chasing after her to New York and tell her that he loves her, even though she has absolutely she's shown no remote interest in him whatsoever. To do that, he and Lil Rel have to take Tiffany Haddish's car, and she's Lil Rel's older sister. She's in prison at the time when they take the car, but she's out of prison soon enough to start going after them. And along the way, it's basically a combination of like Impractical Jokers and Jackass, essentially. the pranks that they're pulling and the people who are not aware of what's happening. And I almost laughed at this kind of in spite of myself. Like I would be annoyed by the movie and then I would just start laughing at something that Eric Andre did. And I would just like, oh man, he got me over and over again. He just kept getting me. Do I like this movie? I don't know.
Yeah, to me, it's insanely funny. At the same time, if Adam Sandler made the exact same movie, the reason it works is because of the audience or the people who aren't in on the joke. When he goes and gets fucked by that gorilla.
Oh God,
it's funny there because the people are they're thinking they're watching that guy get fucked by a gorilla. Put that movie without that audience, it's not funny. It's just like, oh, Jesus, this is dumb. Almost everything in this movie is a bunch of that. Even when they break out in song and dance in the middle of a mall, I mean, that was pretty fun. Everything they did was just they used the audience, or not the audience, but the crowd, I guess, for lack of a better word, to make this funny. And at the same time, it's more shock humor that's making me laugh. I'll take not the movie, but the TV show Impractical Jokers over this any day, largely due to the fact that they're turning it on themselves more than anything and putting themselves in uncomfortable situations. So it's more. This is more on the people. They're playing pranks on people almost.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more. I don't know. I don't want to say rude, but more. I mean, things. It's kind of Borat-ish where they're setting people up to say some stupid shit.
Right. I don't think that they use much of the worst of that, though. I'm imagining there's a lot worse stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they literally have people helping escape convicts away. But at the same time, I don't know. Really, the fun stuff is the behind the scenes stories. The Chinese finger trap. That was the first day of shooting, and Lil Rel quit the movie.
What?
He goes, I can't do that. The guy really pulled a knife on him in the barbershop.
Right. Yeah, I knew that one.
And so he was like, I can't do this, and he quit. And he was telling Tiffany Haddish about it. So she calls Eric Andre up and goes, I want to be in this movie. They talked him back into going, and I knew that scene was coming, and possibly the least funny scene in the movie, really.
Two guys with their dicks trapped in a Chinese finger trap. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Again, it's all about the reactions.
Yeah.
Make it funny. And it's definitely good for just similar to Jackass. It's one of those movies where you go, this is gonna be dumb. And then you start watching and it's not just laughter, it's like uncontrollable laughter because of I can't believe they're doing this in front of people.
Tiffany Haddish is so good at this character. She's you were talking about the scene where she's escaping from prison a little bit. She's hidden underneath a bus, and she asks this guy to pull her out from under the bus, so he does. And then she's like, "Thank you, man. Thank you." The cop comes looking like, "Did you see where'd she go? Where'd she go?" And he's like, "That way." And he's kind of trying to help her, and then she comes back. She's like, "Give me a hug, thank you."
And he's trying to get her out of there because he's scared for her. But
she's so great. And then there's a scene where she's gonna throw Eric Andre off the top of a roof. And the funniest part of that isn't that scene; it's the scene at the end where they do the reveal, and it's Tiffany Haddish, and she's standing on the roof just calling people out, like, "Girl, you weren't gonna do nothing. You were just gonna sit there and eat your food. You weren't doing nothing to help this guy."
And in a lot of ways, it was the subtle stuff when she breaks into her first scene where she breaks into the laundromat or wherever the hell he works, and just takes money out of the cash register and hands it around. It's just little. It's not nearly as shocking as when she steals the cop car.
I almost forgot about that. That's a great scene. Just rips the door off of a cop car and takes off. There's just everybody just standing around reacting. I can't believe this woman just stole a cop car.
But really, it's the supporting players that steal this movie. It's that lady in the diner who plays such a great role. The recruiter for the army or whatever. Yeah. It's those reactions that make it work.
That was a dangerous one because you're wondering if that guy's going to say something horrible. You really are wondering if he's going to do something to Eric Andre, and he turns out to be really sensitive and caring to him.
Which is what kind of keeps me, helps the movie along. There's people along the way when they get in the car accident and then start fighting that guy who breaks them up, while at the same time telling him how to get away with not. I mean, they're literally saying it's a stolen car, and the guy's like, "Well, don't tell the cops that." I don't know. It's on Netflix. It's definitely worth checking out. It isn't for your family though. It's not.
Yeah.
It's set on Practical Jokers, but that's more. Well, there is like partial nudity and that stuff. This is like way more. Like I said, there's a Chinese finger trap with two fake dicks in it. His balls hang out the back of him. I mean, I think they're fake, but still, there's a lot of and the gorilla that rapes him. So I don't know.
Great reveal at the end of that one too, and those post credit scenes are very funny.
They're almost the best part of the movie, and we missed a great opportunity of White Chicks as a classic. Neither one of us knew.
No, we had no idea. That is an important plot point for this movie. It is a bold approach though to actually have like a narrative running through this to create that. That was really clever, and the payoff with Michaela Conklin, just get the fuck out of here.
Even the dream sequences were funny, like when she starts beating up the blind guy with the stick.
Jeez. See, we start talking about it and naming scenes, and it gets funnier than it really actually is.
But it's funny because, again, this is all stuff you can see in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Without real people witnessing it and going, what the hell's going on? So it's, I mean, I recommend it. I don't remember Bad Grandpa or even that amusement park one he did. I don't remember how much of the movie, if it was a lot like this or if it was less.
Yeah, I think the Grandpa movie that he made, that one was a lot like this.
But it's pretty amazing watching them act amongst the people.
Eric Andre, I don't know. This guy weirds me out. He really does. Because I just don't know where the line is with him. If you watched his Cartoon Network, his Adult Swim show, he's so weird. And like he has, like Hannibal Buress played his sidekick on that show, and he did stuff to him that made like he literally legitimately quit and walked off. Just because he didn't know what Eric was going to do, and then he brought him back because they're friends. But it's like he actually he pushes the line so much with this and with that show that you really just you can't trust anything that he does.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but why I prefer something like Unpractical Jokers is he's putting on the people he's pranking. So I mean, he's putting them in really uncomfortable situations while, on Impractical Jokers, they're doing it themselves, and it's more. I think even you said in the movie, it's less hateful. I guess that's not really the right word either, but it's just more. Maybe it's just more family oriented. It's easier to be funny when you can get raped by a gorilla, than something else. I don't know. Anyway, it's still worth seeing and was pretty funny. So. Keep your Netflix subscription for another month.
Rated R.
Hard R.
Hard R.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event for the linear, legitimate, and universally recognized Undisputed Classic.
Hardcore.
Man, I'm so bummed about this movie.
I knew you were putting it up too high.
I was so excited. I was reading stuff about it, and it was all really cool. And the premise is awesome. This guy, oh my God, that's my daughter. It's like I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be some kind of like fucking old boy thing. Like, this is gonna be great, and it's not that because it's not that good. It's just basically Paul Schrader just made Snake Eyes before Snake Eyes.
Is it 8mm? You mean?
Or 8mm? No, is it whatever? Yeah, 8mm. Yeah, whatever. A Nicolas Cage movie without Nicolas Cage. No, all the elements are here. Like Paul Schrader, because we get a lot of respect for Paul Schrader on this show. We've watched some cool stuff from him, like First Reformed, which is pretty amazing. There's lots of good stuff. And then, of course, we've never gone wrong with George C. Scott on this show because we had Patton, we had Exorcist 3, we had I mean, just so much cool stuff. Yeah. I mean, it just keeps going well. And then, so I've got like those elements going into this thinking this is going to be amazing. And then I watch it and it's kind of just, it doesn't rise there. It doesn't get to the level that I wanted it to. I didn't feel it in my bones the way I wanted to, like I did with Old Boy. So the story goes that this guy, he's a very, strict religious guy. He's what they call a Calvinist, which I'm not sure exactly what that is. They explained it in the movie, but I didn't care. He has a daughter, and the daughter and her friend and their school goes off on this trip to California, and the daughter disappears on that trip. So he's trying to find her. He hires a private detective played by Peter Boyle to go looking for her. Peter Boyle ends up finding this porno movie. And in the porno movie is George C. Scott's daughter. And that's apparently who's taken her, is some really nasty porno guys. She's into, so she's, you can tell she's probably been drugged, she's been kidnapped, and she's now in this porno film. Eventually, he goes to California and begins to pose as a porn producer in order to try and find people who might know where his daughter is. And that does eventually lead to where it leads to. But I really wanted this to be more visceral. I wanted this to be more like we're on his side, like we're feeling what he's feeling. And I really think that George C. Scott really keeps us at a distance. And that inability to identify with him and take it, not that I don't feel for him, his daughter's been taken. And that's the whole kind of idea here, is what would you do? It's one of those classic what would you do movies. And I really, it's not because I've got a 9-year-old goddaughter. It's not the same thing as having a daughter. I don't compare it, but I understand, I think, and I think anybody can understand the question of what would you do in this situation, which you'd pretty much kind of maybe do some of the stuff that he would do, not all of it, obviously. I don't think I could do the porn stuff that he does, which gets kind of weird, but
some of it, not all of it. The way you worded that was great.
But I couldn't get inside of him. I wasn't feeling him. And that's what really sucks, is that he's been so good in so many things. And this is just not quite where I see George C. Scott. I want to look at somebody that I'm feeling a little bit, or I want to have some kind of like Schadenfreude, like this guy's getting kind of something that he deserves. And he's just kind of a boring guy, so I can't have anything against him. So yeah, I just didn't feel it.
Yeah, when you sent that review where it was comparing it to like Taxi Driver and Godfather, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're so gonna be let down. I felt really bad, and I didn't want to ruin it, but I mean, I blame Paul Schrader. It was his first movie. He's trying to. He doesn't know what he wants the George C. Scott character to be. I mean, instantly he's the guy I don't like.
Yeah.
And now you have to, and in a lot of ways, he created the situation to begin with his daughter by being such a religious person. And, but they don't spend enough time with that one way or the other.
Right. They don't lay in the relationship very well. Like, we don't get any sense of her in any way. So with not being able to identify with her also, like where she's at mentally, I know that's so that we can set up the big reveal at the end. You want to keep us away from her feelings because you don't want to because you want to have that twist of the knife in that scene. But again, without knowing her, without having some sort of feeling for her, it lessens the impact.
And then when you read that Paul Schrader hates the movie, and I can see why. I mean, some of the porn scenes are just full blown. They're not shocking. They're just gratuitous. I mean, it doesn't work. I don't know if gratuity is the right word, right? But it's clearly you're trying to portray child porn. Therefore, you don't need to show it, even if she's overage. He could have been more effective by keeping it off camera and making it more horrifying. It just seemed like
putting that image in our head as opposed to showing it to us. I think you're absolutely onto something there.
Yeah. And then the scene where he finally sees his daughter in the porno. Oh my God, was that terrible? And it wasn't George C. Scott's fault, but it was horrible direction. You knew every line he was going to say before he said it. Oh my God, turn it off. Turn it off. And it was just like, oh, this is so dumb. But that's Paul Schrader's fault, that. And again, it's like good acting with bad direction and makes him look bad, and so that kind of turned me off. And I mean, the movie itself, it kind of works. I don't think Paul Schrader knows where he really wants to go with it. He doesn't know how to end it. The studio, from what I've read, kind of changed it on him anyway, which his original ending of her dying in a car accident, totally unrelated to any of this.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, I mean, I guess it's more heartbreaking, I guess, but it also leads me to believe that he doesn't know how to end the movie.
Right.
I think there's a lot of potential here. I just think maybe he should have waited a couple of years before he made it, gotten a little bit of experience underneath his belt. Because the look's okay. It does have that gritty look. There's something there. I don't think he quite got there.
Yeah.
Sense.
Yeah, no, you're completely making sense. The last thing I think feeling for me on this is just obviously disappointment, but also like looking back on the 1970s Los Angeles or New York, when you think back, and maybe there's still elements of this in I don't know. I've been to Los Angeles. There's definitely some areas that I saw that were definitely run down and places you wouldn't want to be, but like actual like porn shops on every step of the way, like and like strip clubs everywhere. Like is that still a thing anywhere, or
maybe Grand Rapids where this took place?
I don't know, but that it had me thinking a lot about how much as much as I'm not in favor of censorship, like I oppose government censorship, and I want people to feel free to enact themselves as they enjoy. I prefer not being able to see that. I prefer it not being widely available. Like you have to, if you want something hardcore, if you will, you have to go looking for it, as opposed to it just being there in your face on a street corner. And that's the kind of the thing I kept thinking about and going back to is that as much as I consider myself this, libertine or whatever, happy to allow everybody to do what they want to do within reason, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see people having sex on the street, or I don't want there to be a sex shop here or there. And I would be as much as I see myself as a very open person, I felt I could, the one time where I did feel for it was like, don't put your hands on me. Like when he walks into those right. places where everybody's trying to have sex with him, and he's like, don't touch me. I'm like, I get that. I feel you there. Don't put your hands on me. I understand where I am, but don't put your hands on me.
Yeah, and I remember growing up, I'm from a small town called Geneseo, and outside was another smaller town, Atkinson, and just this big porn shop goes up on the edge of the interstate, like the biggest building in the whole town. This sign, and nobody wanted it there except for the truckers that drove by. It's still there to this day.
Still there, still thriving.
Never been. I think I read maybe once I went in there when I was like 18. I don't remember. But there was another missed opportunity in this movie where, another girl kind of gets to be his quasi like a daughter figure, and he gets to be a father figure. And there's a scene at the end where he kind of throws her to the side, and it's not powerful like it should be.
Really, yeah.
And I think it's back to Paul Schrader. There's just a few tweaks, and this could be a pretty awesome. I don't want to put it on. I don't think it'd be hard to get on the level of Taxi Driver or any of those other movies, but it could have been a solid, cult movie from the 70s. And instead it just lacking in every department.
I mean, honestly, the poster is more powerful than the movie is.
Until you see the movie and you realize the second line is one of the worst scenes.
Also, I gotta say that Peter Boyle is not very good in this either. I wasn't feeling Peter Boyle as the detective at all. That could be just my perception over time, because he became more of a comic actor over time, and but I really just was not feeling him at all, and that needed to be an even more slimy character who kind of maybe becomes redeemed in a little bit way towards the end. Like that could have been better, but Peter Boyle doesn't get to the heart of that. It's all surface level, and that's what's really lacking there.
Yeah, he definitely is a distraction. Again, I don't know if it's because of what he became and me doing that, but he definitely stood out as a sore thumb rather than a effective piece of the story.
And he again, his sort of comic persona kind of ruins again more of that scene that was already pretty bad that you mentioned. That he's also kind of ruining that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. And it makes you wonder. Obviously he wrote Taxi Driver, Paul Schrader, and that movie isn't your typical narrative. And if you put someone like him, who's not as much of a filmmaker, I mean, he is a filmmaker. Don't get me wrong; he's made some great movies,
right?
But not Scorsese level great. And at least the top notch Scorsese stuff. And if he did Taxi Driver, what kind of a clusterfuck that would have been. It's kind of what I feel like here. Only
you kind of need the artist that Scorsese is to really, kind of give more definition outside the lines, as opposed to this sort of. It's like he's directing the script as opposed to the. He's very much directing the script as opposed to finding ways to expand upon it.
Like in my opinion, there's no way Scorsese lets that movie theater scene happen. Because he'd go, oh my God, this will embarrass George C. I mean, he's more likely to have a good performance with a bad camera shot than he would a bad performance with a good shot. Anyway, anything else on Hardcore?
Very, very, very disappointing.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to see this one. Another Paul Schrader movie, The Comfort of Strangers.
It was the whole reason why we watched Hardcore. And then, of course, it's only available on the Criterion channel, which I don't have.
Why? Hell of a cast. Christopher Walken, Natasha Richardson, Rupert Everett, Helen Mirren. I'm curious for sure.
Yeah. I imagine he'd have evolved a great deal. He'd made American Gigolo by then and other movies by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then... the movie poster that made me have a crush on Jennifer Connelly. Career opportunity.
So incredible. Like she just overwhelmed. Like he doesn't even exist.
But at the same time, 40-year-old me is like, I can just picture the studio heads or some creepy guy using this young girl to.
Yeah. No. That's all bad. That poster is definitely, yeah.
You got some 55-year-old guy telling how old she is here, 23, maybe 20, in her 20s for sure. More cleavage, more of this, more of that, and gross.
Yeah.
I did like it when I was a teenager. And then the 5 Heartbeats. I don't know if you saw this one or not.
It's basically like they wanted to make the Temptations movie and they couldn't get the rights to the Temptations, so they came up with their own characters and movie around that, and that's basically what this is. It's a 60s singing group coming apart at the seams because of drugs and infighting, and I'm more talented than you, and why don't I get to sing this one, and that kind of stuff, and it's fine.
And I mean, I at least appreciate that they didn't try to make the Temptations movie with no Temptations in it. That's always when you have a piece of shit movie. Oddly enough, early on, that is our show. 40-minute mark.
Wow, that's
not even. We're not even there. Probably the shortest show I've ever done.
Well, we still got it. Flick chart.
Flick chart.
Save the show, Flick chart.
Next week, though, we do have Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't know what else you're going to see. I believe The Unholy and French Exit are in theaters.
I've already seen both of those, so I'm ready to roll in those.
So Netflix has 2 movies, one called Concrete Cowboy and the other one Warren Stories. I don't know if one's a TV show or not. I can't tell. A classic. If it's available, we're gonna try to watch the original Godzilla versus King Kong. I hope it's available though. That could be fun.
It's probably better than the new one. So,
figuring. And then in 1991, Hanging with the Homeboys and The Marrying Man, the Alec Baldwin based in the movie. So, another quick one next week. But let's go ahead. Am I still sharing the screen? Can you see Flickchart or no?
I can't see Flickchart right now. No.
All right, that's because I screwed it up. Then let's get back. Where am I at here? Not that you need to see it, but it's nice. All right. Now it's back to me and you. Sorry, people listening at home. Well, you should watch this on YouTube.
There you go.
Play some flick chart and get my quarter ready. A Reason to Live, A Reason to Die.
I've never seen that one. Or I've seen it Around the World in 80 Days, but I've not seen that.
Rain Man versus Around the World in 80 Days.
Oh, boy. Wow. That is a brutal choice. Both are terrible. I think Rain Man might be less terrible.
I don't think Rain Man's terrible, but it's definitely gets worse with repeat viewing. Lean on Me, Pet Cemetery.
Lean on Me.
Agreed. Both from 89. Drive, 2011. Star Trek, The Motion.
Drive. Drive as fast as possible away from Star Trek, the motion picture.
Absolutely. Movie we're going to get to later this year, Backdraft or The Three Musketeers.
Backdraft.
I agree. Afraid to watch that one, though. Sneakers, About Schmidt.
About Schmidt.
Yeah. Signs, Good Morning from 1959.
No, I've never seen that one.
Signs are the Manchurian Candidate remake.
Signs.
Agreed. Into the Wild, Gone.
I'm not sure if I've seen Gone.
Let's get rid of it then. Into the Wild, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Into the Wild.
Agreed. House of Flying Daggers, Volcano.
House of Flying Daggers over The Coast is Toast.
Is that movie?
It was right there on the poster.
I chose it too quick to read it. Sorry. Fantastic Mr. Fox, Black Sheep.
That's actually a difficult decision because I'm not a fan of Fantastic Mr. Fox at all. Fantastic Mr. Fox, I guess.
I think if it was Tommy Boy and Mike.
Yeah. It's just so much shrieking, so much Tommy Boy, or so much of Black Sheep is just him shrieking.
Yeah.
I've never seen Metal Storm, but damn it, I want to. Look at that poster. That's amazing. I want to see that. And it's called Metal Storm. I mean, how have we not seen that yet?
Write it down. Maybe we can add it to that our next Patreon if we could find it.
There you go.
13 going on 30 or Frozen.
13 going on 30 for me. Not that it gets Frozen, but 13 going on 30 is fun.
I just saw the 13-year-old from that movie post on Instagram that she is now 30.
Oh, wow. God damn it.
Jurassic World, West Side Story.
I like both of those movies. I don't have any passion for either one. West Side Story.
I'm going Jurassic World. I kind of dislike West Side Story. And George is going to go with the dinosaurs. Encino Man, Hostel Part 2.
Encino Man all the way. Oh my God, did you hear the Brendan Fraser story, by the way?
No, it's a good time to tell it.
So he claims that he was essentially, I don't know if the words are sexually assaulted, but he was groped by the head of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association around the time of the last Mummy movie. And he tried to tell people that this happened. And after that, he couldn't get a job. Brendan Fraser couldn't get a job, which if you look back on it, yeah, he couldn't really after Mummy 3, which granted Mummy 3 kind of tanked a little bit, but it wasn't so bad that you would think it would end a guy's career, which has led a lot of people to wonder, like, just how powerful is the HFPA if they can say, this guy's done. Like,
there's no reason he can't be in an Alvin and the Chipmunks or the movies.
Right, exactly.
So many of those movies and that's what he would have been relegated to most likely, but he didn't even get those.
Right. for a time. He couldn't buy a job. And also some of that was being, he was kind of traumatized by this as well, having been groped by this guy. And the response today from the GQ piece that this is now, I think this may have just come out. The response today from the HFPA was to say that, well, when he did that, it was a joke. He was only kidding. He was only kidding when he groped him. I've never groped anybody as a joke, so I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, have you heard the Thomas Middleditch stuff?
Oh God, I just heard that he was groping people at a goth club.
Yep, and I think Max Landis, not Brooks.
Oh well, that if it's Max Landis, that makes complete sense.
Well, he got kicked out of that club beforehand. The club's now been shut down. Yeah, I mean and they got tweets and direct messages from Thomas Middleditch apologizing to the people and essentially admitting that he did it. And it's like, I don't know. I just don't get how you could even get in that situation to begin with. I guess I'll go ahead and see him, man.
Good.
I remember when Hostel came out, it was kind of a hardcore situation for me where I was like, it looks so good, and then it was so kind of, I didn't hate it, but it did not live up to what I thought it was going to be. And Hostel 2 just blew. Layer Cake, Turner and Hooch.
It's Turner and Hooch for me. Layer Cake is such a disappointing movie. As much as I don't care for Turner and Hooch, I'd rather watch that.
Bad Boys 2, The Last Samurai.
Last Samurai. Fuck Bad Boys 2 so much.
Old Yeller, Mr. McGordon, Wonder Emporium. Two movies you didn't talk about today.
Say what?
2 movies you didn't think you'd talk about today.
It's true. It's my hatred for dogs being shot versus my hatred of Dustin Hoffman. Like, what do I hate more? What would I say first, the dog or Dustin Hoffman? Probably the dog.
Yeah, if you had to watch 2 things, a dog being murdered or what are you going to watch? I mean, that's a lot of the problem with any of these movies is Dustin Hoffman's hard to watch anymore.
He really is.
All the movies I liked, the Kevin Spacey, obviously, for not just because of what he did, but because I don't know it. I mean, we talked about it with the Woody Allen thing a few weeks ago. When you start to see the realness of themselves and their art, it clearly why it worked at the time.
But there's, it's not even just though that what Dustin Hoffman's been accused of, which is very shitty, and I definitely do bring that to some of his movies. You can definitely see that, obviously, in Kramer versus Kramer, but it's also that Nathan Raymond has this great quote about the Academy Awards winning Best Actor is kind of based. It's not so much based on the best acting; it's based on the most acting, and that's kind of how I've always felt about Dustin Hoffman. It was like a glass shattering moment for me about Dustin Hoffman because he really, when it comes to acting, he does the most acting, as opposed to just acting the character. He is the most acting of characters. He acts everything, and it's just it. I can't unsee it. I can't unsee that. No.
Why is it less annoying with Jack Nicholson though? Because he's a lot like that too. But for whatever reason, maybe it's the characters he's playing.
Nicholson's just, I think he's a lot more relaxed, honestly, than maybe not as the Joker, but like the best parts of As Good as It Gets are when he's just kind of relaxed and just kind of not, throwing himself into the scene.
Well, yeah. But I mean, he's definitely throwing himself in the scene.
The thing about Schmidt, is a great performance, and he's not overly throwing himself in every scene.
Right, but you named 2. But I mean, let's go The Shining, One for the Cuckoo's Nest, even The Departed. He is, and it's awesome.
I think it just feels more natural from him as opposed to Hoffman, where you can it feels like it's like a puppet where you can see the strings.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're voting for the dog killing.
Yeah, we're voting for the dead dog over Dustin Hoffman.
Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, The Dukes of Hazzard.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Formula 51, Nurse Betty.
Nurse Betty by a mile. Formula 51 is such a garbage movie. I walked out of that piece of shit. I walked out. Have I told you about that?
No, I don't even know what it is.
There's a scene in that movie where Samuel L. Jackson is dealing with a group of bad guys who are sent to kill him, and he like gets them to eat a bunch of laxatives, and they just start shitting everywhere. They just start shitting. Just it's nonstop shit. And it's like the second they just started shitting, I got up and walked out. And I was the only one in the theater. So
well, and you sat through some shit stuff before. And movies you've liked.
I've seen Sallow.
Zack and Mary's got a pretty gross shit scene that you didn't.
I've done an entire somebody else's podcast where I talked about shit scenes in movies. Yeah, like Hall Pass has the best shit scene in any movie ever.
Which one was that?
It was with Jason Sudeikis and Owen Wilson. They get the Hall Pass from their wives.
Yeah, I remember the movie. What was the shit scene though?
Sudeikis is like he's getting sick, like right before they're about to actually culminate and actually have sex with somebody who aren't their wives, and he ends up in the bathroom and just blows shit all over the shower, just everywhere. I don't remember the exact context of the joke, but it made me laugh. I think it was probably the shock value of it just made me laugh.
Yeah.
But Formula 51 is just fuck that movie all the way.
Life of Pi, The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Life of Pi.
Agreed. Split Second from 1992, Rucker Howard, or The Secret in Their Eyes.
Honestly, I can't say. I've seen the remake of The Secret in Their Eyes. I've not seen the original. So
you've seen Split Second though?
No.
Okay, let's just get rid of them both. Spanglish Dune.
Spanglish.
Yeah, I'll dip my toes back into Dune later on, but
yeah,
my memory was not fond. As much as I try to like David Lynch. Keyword is that effort I'm putting into liking him.
Yeah.
A Prophet from 2009. Crazy Stupid Love.
I can't remember if I've seen The Prophet or not.
I have not, so that makes it easier. The Mask of Zorro. Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Agreed. The Virgin Suicides. Tropic Thunder.
Two really, really, really good movies. I know Tropic Thunder is kind of out of favor because of Robert Downey Jr.'s character, but that's the whole joke of it is that. But nevertheless, people are sensitive to that. I understand it. You're missing the point. The Virgin Suicides is the better movie.
Man, now you're making me feel bad for thinking the other way around. Flip it anyway. Oh, you win. Virgin Suicides. George picked When Harry Met Sally, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
When Harry Met Sally or Kevin Costner's ass. When Harry Met Sally.
I mean, I do have I love that movie because just of nostalgia only. That's we talk about really my nostalgia starts in like 90, 91. It was like Goonies and this and that and Indiana Jones, and I'm like, I watched those all like once. Robin Hood, though, I watched a million times.
I will say, I mean, Rickman is amazing in that. They cut his heart out with a spoon.
Why a spoon? Body of Lies, Rookie of the Year.
It's Rookie of the Year. He's a cub. He's a cub. Come on. Gary Busey's great in that movie.
Yeah. And the other one's kind of forgettable.
Do you remember Don't Say a Word?
I do not.
It's Brittany Murphy. It was one of the most famous commercials of the time. She drove everybody crazy. That commercial drove everyone insane because they showed that commercial so many times. And the end of the commercial was always her saying, "I'll never tell," over and over again. It just drove people insane.
I'm sure I've even seen it, but I forget. A Home at the End of the World is the other movie. I don't.
That's
know
definitely a better film. Yes, I kind of like that movie.
No memory of either. Crawl Space, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
I don't think I've seen Crawl Space.
I'm gonna get rid of both of them because why not? Shallow Hal, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Shallow Hal.
I agree. The Man Who Wasn't There, His Trysting Place.
I've not seen that particular Chaplin film.
The Man Who Wasn't There, Moonraker.
Oh, that is very easy. You're the Man Who Wasn't There by a lot.
Jingle All the Way, She-Devil.
These are both crappy films.
Was it last week or a couple weeks ago when you were like, this is the movie where Meryl Streep was no longer homework? What about She-Devil?
She wasn't homework necessarily, but wasn't my favorite either. She-Devil, because Jingle All the Way is really unwatchable.
Super 8, Dementia 13.
Dimension 13 looks cool, but I've never seen it. It's a great poster, though.
Super 8, Girl Interrupted.
That's tough. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I like both those movies. And I think Girl Interrupted was top 20 of 99, and that's the best movie. That's the best movie year of my life. So I'm gonna go Girl Interrupted.
I'm gonna agree with you. Encino Man, Police Academy.
Another win for Encino Man.
I'm just gonna flip it for fun.
What? Police Academy? Come on,
Pauly Shore.
Police Academy is garbage.
You won anyway. I was just trying to. It's hard to make that interesting, I guess. I should have just cut my losses and moved on. Annie, 1982, or About a Boy?
About a Boy.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Major League.
That is very hard for me. I love Monty Python. I do. I love our Holy Grail is really fantastic, but I mean, every last bit of my nostalgia is it's all about Major League and Bats Afraid. Major League all the way. You gotta go Major League.
I think we're gonna get hate mail for it. Even I agree with you. I'm also a baseball guy. You're a baseball guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Monty Python, but I also don't like it like everybody else does.
Right.
So that kind of plays a role too.
Major League belongs at 56. Honestly, that's how good. That's how much I love Major League. It is a top 60 movie of all time. I love it way above proportion to how good it is.
The only thing I have against Major League is that it's consistently ahead of Bull Durham on baseball.
That's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong.
Frustrates me, but I do enjoy watching it. Green Lantern or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Absolutely. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Angel Heart.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Angel Heart, directed by Paul Schrader. Just a movie with something there that they just kind of fucked up. Paul Blart, Mall Cop. The 39 Steps, 1935.
The 39 Steps. That's a classic, one of the first Hitchcock movies.
We haven't talked about that one.
It's a good one.
Rookie of the Year, basketball.
I have a soft spot for basketball, but not for the guys who made it, so I'm going Rookie of the Year.
I'm going basketball. How can you not like the guys that made it? They're like the smartest writers in Hollywood.
They're all right.
Tales. Have you seen the newest episode they did?
No, I don't watch. I don't watch South Park.
So
I haven't watched South Park since the movie, honestly.
It's as good as it ever was. I mean, I guess I can't say Simpsons got worse. I just stopped watching it.
Right.
South Park
Simpsons has got worse. I can confirm that.
South Park just has gotten as good, if not better, the whole time. I don't know. I think those guys are geniuses. The Hateful Eight, Blade Trinity.
Hateful Eight.
Sure. Election, Alien Resurrection.
Election.
Agreed. The Last Boy Scout, Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
That's not going to be a fun rewatch. I remember loving Last Boy Scout.
Yeah.
But
can't imagine that's going to go well.
I mean, the opening scene isn't the guy running like a football player gets to the end zone and shoots his defender or something like that.
Yeah. It's weird. It's crazy.
Now looking back, kind of dumb.
Right.
Atonement, A Scanner Darkly.
Let's see. I mean, I know I've seen a toe. Sorry, I fell asleep just in the middle of the title. It's Scanner Darkly.
The Replacements, Daddy Day Camp.
Oh, good fucking Christ. Fishing with Gandhi. Fuck both those movies.
It's a good ending. That was fun.
Good night, everyone.
We made up. We got another 20 minutes, and that was good. So we good for next week then? Everything looks like.
I think so.
When do you want to? I guess we could talk about it when we get closer.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
All right. I'll talk to you later.